I see these fish busting. I throw my popper there, strip once, strip twice, and boom. I mean, I didn't even have time to think about it. The fish is already, in my backing.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Remote No Pressure podcast. We're super excited to be here, aren't we, Bill?
We are. It's a good day.
You getting ready for the Christmas season?
I am. It is slowly creeping up on us. December has arrived, and it is the Christmas season.
Now, you work for a nonprofit.
Uh-huh.
And you guys get super busy this time.
We do. I will be pushing 70 hours this week.
Wow, that's a lot of work. Plus doing the Remote No Pressure podcast.
Exactly. Well, it's all a labor of love.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we love having you, Bill.
I love being here. Appreciate it.
Okay, so before we get into the podcast, a couple things. Number one is we went up north and we recorded an interview with Bear Andrews, a legendary fly guy, just a fly angler. I mean, there are flies within the Orvis catalog that are named after Bear. They're his
That
flies.
is amazing. That is like a legacy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and you were hanging out with him, and he's just a great guy, and the guys at True North Trout. And so what we decided to do is we went up there and we recorded an outside interview around a campfire.
Yep.
And I've spent all week editing this thing. Because the wind, there's fire popping, there's all kinds of stuff
Environmental factors
that we are editing out. So what we're going to do is we will not be releasing that episode this week. We will be doing Stories by Bear.
I like how calming you make it sound.
Like an NPR.
Yeah.
Stories by Bear.
And we have to talk all soft.
And have a weird name. Have you noticed, I shouldn't say weird name, but like a unique name. I'm Lap Shmei-Sheng.
Gesundheit.
That's a person's name on NPR.
Oh, no kidding.
Do you listen to NPR?
I do not.
Oh, okay. You're a conspiracy theorist.
I am.
You're not there.
NPR's the devil. No, I'm kidding.
That's why I like you, because we're not exactly the same. But it's funny because it's like every person on, all the people on NPR have like unique names. Like there's no one named Jim Smith on NPR.
They make them change it.
A stage name.
Yep.
Like some people think Jeff Troutman is a stage name. Is your name really Troutman? And I'm like, yes, it really is.
And it's funny because I should make a goose hunting podcast and have you on it.
That's true. Geese Minh.
Yeah.
It's spelled that way.
Yep.
How do you pronounce it?
Geese Man.
Geese Man. Right. Bill Geese Man. So you could be like, I never put that. Oh my gosh. Well, it's funny. My son's named Reagan and his best friend at school is named Carter. And I never put that together. And my wife is like, did you realize that his best friend's named Carter? I'm like, holy cow, Reagan and Carter. That's hilarious. And they are complete opposites, which is funny. Well, speaking of funny, we've got some reviews this week.
Yes.
That's great. And so if you guys enjoy the podcast, go to your whatever platform you listen and give us a review. We'd really appreciate that. But write an explanation.
Yeah. Feedback is always good, especially if you know the whys.
So we got a 1-star review.
And what'd they say?
Nothing.
Oh.
But I wanted to know.
Helpful.
I know. So I don't normally look at the reviews.
Yeah.
So this week I'm like, I'm going to go just see how things are going, and got a 1-star review and a 3-star review. So I was like, oh. So if you guys...
it's showing improvement. It's showing signs of improvement. We're getting there.
Yeah, but if you're going to leave a 1-star review or a 3-star review or anything, just leave an explanation, because we're not going to make everybody happy. You don't have to listen to the Remote No Pressure podcast.
Yeah.
But I had this thought the other day. So we have Little Caesars, and that's a pizza chain that's really popular in Michigan because they're based out of Detroit, So we have Little Caesars up the street from us here, outside of the cornfield. And
take a left.
Take a left past the soybeans.
When you see the soybeans and the chicken farms.
And the microbrewery. It's like cornfield, soy, microbrewery. And then, just to the left of that.
You got to have something to do on Friday.
But it's microbrew, so it's cool. It's hip.
Yeah.
No, so we have a Little Caesars here. And so before I ordered there, I wanted to see what the reviews were. and it was a 3-star review. And I'm like, for Little Caesars, a 3-star review is
That's
probably
actually pretty decent.
like there's some places that a 3-star review is, I'll try it out.
That's about what I expected.
That must be really clean and the service is great, Like,
They've upped their game, I guess. All right.
oh my gosh! So, and there they are. They're 3 stars. I would give them a solid 3-star. But do you do a lot of reviews? Do you give people reviews a lot? Restaurants, things like that.
Unless I have really bad service, I don't.
What if you have really good service though?
I tip well. If I have really good service, it's more of a personal review, in my opinion. Then I give them a tip. I give them a good tip.
So if you have really bad service, you'll go online and you'll leave
I'll
a
go
review.
online and I will be a troll.
Really?
Yes. Not spreading false info, but I mean, I will lay it out like they did this. Okay, short story. I did that up in Cadillac.
Okay.
I was up at a Cadillac brewery with my mom.
Of course you
This was in my drinking days, but I was sober this day.
Okay.
And so
because you were with your mom.
Yeah. Mom doesn't want to see that side of me. So I was at this brewery. It was they just opened this brewery, and food was not very good. The service was not very good, and just overall bad experience. So I went on Yelp. I don't know if Yelp is still a thing.
Okay.
And I laid it out there. I gave them a 1-star review, and they paid to have that taken off.
They did not.
Yeah, they did. You can do that on Yelp if you pay Yelp enough, or however the algorithms are done. They will take it off for you. They will go, accommodate the businesses.
So you're saying that if you really, really, really like it, you won't go online, but you'll leave a tip.
Yeah, more of in my opinion, that shows more appreciation in the spot than. If it's really good too. I mean, I had a new roof put on this last summer, and I went online and gave a good review for the builder because his prices were good and he did good service. But that's a rare thing for me. I don't really do a lot of online praise.
So what you're saying is there could be a lot of people that love the podcast, but someone but don't leave a review because they love it.
They love it, and they show their appreciation by listening.
Oh yeah, or shooting me an email or liking something on our Instagram. But the people that leave a 1-star review, really, 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 really
they had
hate
a
it.
terrible experience, and they will not be coming back. I will not be returning to your podcast, sir.
But I'm going to listen to 3 more just to make sure I hate it as much as I.
Gosh, this one's worse than the last.
Oh man, yeah, that's crazy. But I was kind of disappointed. But you can't read those things. You can't be you can't.
Hate is gonna hate.
And I know who it is. And you're listening right now. I know who you are. No, I don't have any idea who left it.
We're looking at your house on Google Maps as we speak.
Bill, the conspiracy theorist, will find you. I'm pretty sure you were at a Trump rally. No, but seriously. No, but seriously, if you like the podcast, we'd really appreciate the reviews because it really helps. It really helps, and we want your feedback.
Constructive feedback, not you guys suck.
Yeah, not like you guys suck. If you think that, that's fine.
Well, give us why we suck.
Just tell us why we suck. And if it's a legitimate reason, we'll try it. But if it's just because you don't like us, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just don't listen.
We'll help you find a better podcast.
Yeah, there's plenty out there.
Have you checked out Joe Rogan?
Yeah. I like him.
I do too.
Did you hear the Roseanne Barr interview?
I did not.
Oh, it's so good.
I'll check that out this afternoon.
It's really good. This podcast brought to you by... No, just kidding. Yeah, well, cool. Well, this week we have Murphy, John Murphy. He's the interview we are going to publish this week. And a lot of you don't know, well, a lot of you may know, he helped out a lot last year with our podcast, did some audio stuff with us, and is a great young guy I met at a fly show. And he's down in Florida now.
That's crazy. How's he doing down there?
He's loving it. But he said it's weird because I did the interview a few weeks ago, and it was really getting cold and cooler here, and he's super hot. And he's it's weird that there's no seasons.
Yeah.
I could see that, Growing up in Texas, I didn't know what a season was. I just the same year round,
This is the time of year leaves fall off the tree.
Right. Yeah. And there's cactuses never lose their leaves,
yeah.
So
did you have deciduous trees down there like maples and oaks?
Yeah, we had a lot of post oak was a big thing down there.
Would they would lose their leaves though in the fall and winter?
Yeah, there's trees that would lose it. It's not like it is here.
Yeah.
And the colors aren't as vibrant. Like I have a friend of mine who posted a picture at his ranch just recently of the leaves and he was like, "This is so beautiful." And I'm like, I mean, it's not as
boring.
vibrant. Yeah. It's like, yeah. Yeah, you got to one up them, you know. You gotta one up them. This is better. No, that's what they do on social. I hate that crap. But anyway,
that's we were just talking about this. That is why I am off the social media.
Yeah. Anybody looking for Wild Bill, he's not on social, which I envy that. But here's the deal. So what I don't understand though is how people process feelings and emotions through social media.
How did we do it in the 80s and 90s? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You couldn't just go complain you couldn't just like wear a sign around your neck, you know, saying what your feelings were.
Right.
Where
That's
now
a good point.
people are going to social media and like, well, here's what I had for breakfast.
Right.
And I'm going to completely stay away from politics, but people are like really taking to social media for politics and everything.
Right.
Like,
which was a very, you know, and I think I've said this on the podcast before. Growing up, you know, we were taught don't talk about religion or politics.
Yeah, the way I grew up, that's rude to speak of those two things. Yeah.
Right. And now it's like you just wear it on your sleeve.
Yep, you say what you want.
Say what you want. You don't like it?
Yeah.
I don't care. This is how it is.
Yep.
You know. So that's
it's a different world we live in now.
It is. But you know, there's also people who like may lose a loved one. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they post it on Facebook. You know, and you're like, man, I feel really bad. And, you know, cook them a meal or do something for that person.
Yeah.
You know, but then they begin to process this out loud.
Yep. And that is a healthier thing to do too.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah, it's just kind of a.
But I feel it's healthier to do in person than over text.
It's very odd.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to figure it out.
Frowny face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. A teary-eyed emoji. You know, it doesn't do much. But people are beginning, you know, it's just kind of odd. Like they're really processing life through the social media.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
I don't either.
I don't process that.
We're old men, Jeff.
We're
back in our days.
God,
you didn't do that. You don't speak of these things and you don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, cool. Well, speaking of processing feelings, I mean, there's nothing better to process feelings than fly fishing.
That's right.
You know, and I tell you what, I've processed a lot of feelings out on the river, and this time of year we're still chasing steelhead, and
it's amazing because you're out there and you're not thinking about your problems, but somehow they work themselves out while you're outside and thinking about something else, you know?
Yeah, for sure. This week we have John Murphy. He's going to report live from Florida. It's pretty sweet. Some of the fish he's caught.
Live from Florida. As you hit play, it will be live.
Pre-recorded live and edited from Florida. Yeah, so we're super excited to have him back, and he's actually coming back for the Christmas vacation. So we're going to get to hang out with him, which I'm very excited
That's cool.
about. Cool dude, man. Just the real deal, you know?
Yep.
So welcome to the podcast. Let's light the fire. Well, thanks for hanging out with us tonight, Murph.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me on. It's weird to be
on that end
on
of
the other end of this.
I'm just going to call you Murph for the show, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Okay. First of all, you know, you were a big part of last season. I just want to thank you for all the work that you did on the back end of things that a lot of people didn't, you know, notice, you know. But now you went to school for, and you were on our Facebook. We did like a quick live interview, but we didn't do like an interview for the podcast. But can you tell us a little bit about your background? I mean, you have a background in audio and video, right?
Yeah. Basically, when it was time to figure out what I wanted to do for the rest of my life after I graduated high school, I mulled over quite a few options, and last second, I decided to go pretty much study digital media production at a tiny school out in the middle of nowhere, Colorado. And honestly, that was one of the best decisions I've ever made. So it was a scary leap, but it was completely worth it. So,
what is it about Colorado? Because we talked to a lot of people on the show who are either from Colorado, who go out to Colorado, and it seems like it's kind of a magical place.
I don't know, to be honest with you, exactly what it is, but yeah, there's something absolutely magical. I mean, everybody is extremely friendly. It's an outdoorsman's paradise. I mean, it truly is. There's no shortage of things to do whatsoever. You can go camping, you can go skiing, you can go fishing, you can go hunting, you can go hiking, you can go rafting. I mean, there's just so many options that you have just within such a short, you can be in one town and have numerous different options for things to do.
Right. Is that where you found fly fishing, or were you fly fishing in Michigan before you went out there?
No, actually, that is where I found fly fishing. I'd grown up fishing a little bit, here and there, and I liked fishing for bass and just kind of messing around. But of all things, I found fly fishing, fishing for pike in Colorado.
That's
So
awesome.
that was my introduction. Talk about a frustrating first experience.
I can only imagine. It had to be pretty crazy.
Oh man, it was. I mean, you've never casted before, and you're trying to cast this fly that's 3, 4, 5 inches long. You get it in the water, and you watch this fish swim up, and he'll study it for a long time, and he'll never take it. So yeah, it was extremely frustrating the first time I went fly fishing.
Now, you said you fished before, before you went out to college. You did some fishing here in Michigan, and it was in college that you found the fly fishing. What was it about the fly fishing that, you're all in, dude. You and I went to the fly fishing film tour together last year, and it was just fun hanging out with you. Me, you, Accountant Phil, and some of your buddies. We were all just kind of hanging out at the fly fishing film tour. And it was fun sitting next to you because you really got into it. You're not one of these passive viewers, passive consumers. You're like, oh, you're getting really into it. It was amazing, But what was it about? What was it about fly fishing that sucked you in versus say just fishing with a worm or fishing with regular spinning gear?
To this day, I have no idea what it is that absolutely drew me in. But it from the second. After you fish for pike, the next thing was to fish for trout, which was immensely easier. And from the first time that I hooked into that trout and finally landed it, that was it. I was done. It was over. I pretty much figured out, this is the most expensive thing I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. And I think the thing I like about it is it's like the bow hunting of the fishing world. It's a lot more dialed back in a way. Things are a lot simpler. You have to rely a lot more on, manpower and skills rather than some kind of device that's really helping you land a fish, for instance, with reeling. But there's a lot of technique to it, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of technique to other kinds of fishing as well. Not to say that there isn't skill and that regular fishing is easy. It's not, trust me. But there's something refined about fly fishing. There's just something about it that I find other types of fishing and other activities I've participated in just don't have. Even the community aspect of it, I have to say, is unlike any other community I've ever been a part of.
What do you mean by that? What's different about it?
About the community, or
just about the community? Because to be honest with you, it almost becomes like when you're in an airport, okay, and you see someone who's a fly angler, they're a fly angler right away.
Right.
It's something about the culture that sucks people in, and it kind of becomes, your identity. Wouldn't you agree to that?
It's like a brotherhood. It's like, I can't tell you how many people I was in a bar the other day, actually, and I'm sitting there, and I had a Howler Brothers hat on, and this guy comes up to me and he goes, "You fly fish?" And I said, "Yes, yes, I do." And we ended up sitting there at that bar talking to each other for the next 2.5 hours.
Right.
it's just, I don't know. It's a common, when you have a common experience like that with somebody, something almost, because it's kind of like a niche sport, you know, it's not something that everybody does, and not to make it sound like an elitist thing, but I mean, it's often when a group of people have something like that in common, something technical and something that they can just go on and on and on about for hours.
Right.
And I appreciate that. You know, all the guys in the fly community, I would say the majority of them, it's nice because a lot of them don't take themselves too seriously. I mean, everybody just likes to have a good time, go out, catch a couple fish, have some beers, just kind of hang out.
Right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening this week. I want to take a brief moment to talk a little bit about things that are coming up here on the Remote No Pressure podcast, and also talk about some of the people that we've partnered with. We are putting together a trip to go to Chile in February, and if you're out and about and you're buying your Christmas gifts, you're doing all this, like those things that we encourage you to do is get outdoors. And this would be an awesome trip. We're not trying to start, a travel agency by any means, but we're just taking a group of friends to Chile, and we'd love to have you come along. If you go to remotenopressure.com, click at the very top at the link that says travel, and it'll give you all the details of the trip. Also, we have partnered with Flood Tide, with Paul Puckett's Paul Puckett and the boys over at Flood Tide. If you go to floodtideco.com, you can see all of their clothing and all that they got going on over there. It's really awesome. And at the very end, when you go to check out, if you type in Remote No Pressure, they've offered our listeners a very generous 25% discount when you type in Remote No Pressure at checkout. Again, go to floodtideco.com, check out some of their clothing, check out their hats. They're really cool stuff that they got over there at checkout. Enter in Remote No Pressure and receive 25% off. Let's get back to the podcast. Right, like so, even if you take not taking themselves too seriously, even the Drake. Like I was talking to Jamie, my wife here, about the Drake magazine. It looks like such a polished magazine. I mean, the pictures are so nice. I mean, so well laid out, and then you got all kinds of shenanigans in there, and you, you know what I mean? And it's great because it's like, we're a really proper magazine, but not really. We like to have fun, And
one of my favorite things about the Drake, if you look up by the price, it'll say $7, and then in very small print it says 14 for bait fishermen.
Right.
I mean, it looks super polished and professional, but it's all just fun and chaos.
Yeah, it's kind of like the fly fishing film tour. There's always some funny shenanigans and riff-raff at that activity,
Oh yeah.
But whoever came up with that marketing though, $15 for bait fishermen or whatever, that's brilliant. I'm sure that's sold like a lot of magazines.
Oh yeah, I mean that's an incredible kind of underhanded marketing ploy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you were in Michigan in high school. You went out to Colorado. You discovered this awesome thing called fly fishing. You get addicted to that. I met you last year at a fly fishing show here in Michigan. You were here for a year, and now where are you? What are you up to now, Murph?
Now I am chasing all kinds of saltwater fish in Florida's East Coast.
Nice.
Which is crazy. It's oh man, it's a whole different experience. I wasn't prepared for tides, and I definitely wasn't prepared for wind. Those really mess with you.
Yeah, so if you want to go fishing for just run out and go fishing for 20 minutes, if the tide's not right, you're not going fishing.
Yeah, that was one of the hardest parts. I'd get out of class, and it's just like, all right, I got like an hour here. Go down there, and the tide's so low, it's 5-10 feet away from where I'm standing. There's dry land here instead of water.
Wow.
So it messes everything up. It affects where the bait fish are. It affects where the other fish are. I mean, everything about it. There's so many variables to saltwater fishing.
Yeah. Did that kind of catch you off guard? You didn't think about those things?
Extremely. I mean, the fish can be chasing a multitude of different things, and a lot of that has to do with water temperature and, like I said, tide, wind patterns, even as much as, okay, what's the most abundant food source in the water right now? You can see mullet all over the place, but if there's crabs crawling all over the bottom, maybe they're not eating mullet, maybe they're eating crabs.
But so you're chasing now. Did you catch a GT? Did I see you had one of those?
Very close. It's called a Jack Crevalle. It's in the same family, pretty much a small version of that, and just as ferocious in terms of eat. I've never quite experienced anything like that in my life.
What was that like, hooking into your first Jack Crevalle?
Yeah, I mean, so this was actually my first saltwater fish on the fly at all. Like the first one I've actually landed.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been out in the flood tides, chasing redfish on foot, and it's tricky, it's very much a hunting thing, and you can go out for a whole day, and if the fish don't happen to be on that flat, you've just been walking around for nothing. And so after weeks and weeks of doing that, I'm like, okay, I need to try something else. And I was walking downtown St. Augustine one night, and I'm at the seawall, and I just see this explosion on the surface. Like,
wow.
What on earth? And I'm just watching, a school of maybe 10 or 12 of those Jack Crevalle just annihilating a group of bait fish, running them up to the seawall and just going to town. So I run over to the fly shop. I'm like, all right, what do I need to do this? So they set me up to like, you probably want a 9 or a 10. I'm like, well, I don't have a 9 or a 10. I'm going with an 8. They're like, oh, okay. All right. So I put on straight 30-pound weeder and on my 8 weight, and then I ran just a very short section of that, and then I threw on like a popper. And so I remember I'm just downtown, didn't have super high expectations because I hadn't caught anything yet. And I see these fish busting. I throw my popper there, strip once, strip twice, and boom. I mean, I didn't even have time to think about it.
Wow.
The fish is already, in my backing. I mean, these things take off. And so I've never had a fish, I fought salmon, but they don't fight like these things do. I mean, this thing takes off at the speed of light, runs a good 15, 20 yards into my backing.
I mean, was your heart just like coming out of your chest?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what to do right now. The thing that was terrifying is I'm standing on this seawall. I'm standing on this seawall. And there's a bridge to my right, very close to my right, and there's a dock to my left. And I'm just thinking, if he turns at all, if he goes any direction, this thing is gone. Like, it's gonna destroy my rod. I'm just gonna be in a lot of trouble here. So he comes back. I get him back in. I go to tail him. He makes another run.
Oh my God.
I go to grab him, and he just second wind, gone. So finally I grab him again, and I grab him by the tail, and I haul him out of the water, and I was literally shaking. I didn't know what to do with myself. Like, I just caught this thing that just, this thing is a brutal eating machine. I mean, it wasn't that heavy. I would say it was probably a 10, 15 pounder. And they can still run like that. I mean, they can still bully you at that size.
Wow.
So when you get one that's like 40, 60 pounds, I don't even want to know how long that's going to take you. I mean,
yeah, well, I think it was Jeff Pierce from Scientific Anglers who came on and was telling us about the Jack Crevalle last season.
They're just nuts.
Yeah,
nuts
he swears
fish.
by
I mean,
him.
well, the nice thing about them, I was having a discussion about this with some of the guys in the shop. Nobody wants to fish for them. They're not prestigious. They're not picky. They're not picky eaters. They're not particularly hard to hook into, but they're so abundant. So a lot of times, because nobody wants to catch these things, you have that whole Jack Crevalle fishing to yourself.
Wow.
which is awesome. Absolutely awesome.
If you enjoy it, I mean, it's fighting like that. Well, yeah, that's amazing.
Man, I mean, it really is a miniature GT. They're built the same way. They eat the same way. They run the same way. They're just a quarter, half the size.
Right.
So,
well, all of my like everybody I know right now down south, especially like in Louisiana and Texas, they're all catching redfish. Are you hooking in anything like that? What's going on with the redfish down there, Murph?
Yeah, our flood tide was a little hit or miss this year. We'd either get floods and the fish wouldn't be there, or we'd be projected to get floods and they wouldn't show. So our flood tide was kind of iffy. So it was kind of an iffy flood, but now we're in the low tide, and low tide has been absolutely ridiculous.
Wow.
I remember one of my first times out for redfish. We rolled up in this creek early morning, and it was just incredible. I mean, we saw like 30 fish in this creek, and these fish are so strange. Usually you'd think a fish wants to get as deep as it can. These fish get as shallow as they can. I mean, their backs are out of the water. You can see their eyeballs. I mean, they're just in the mud, way up in there.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's mesmerizing watching that tail just kind of swing in the air as they're eating. And I was really caught off guard by just kind of how subtle that take is when they're kind of feeding off the bottom like that. You barely notice that the fish is on, and all of a sudden, you strip it a little bit and the thing takes off on you.
Wow.
And those things are quite the obsession. The difficult part is you really kind of need a boat to access them.
Right.
Some kind of a watercraft. And being a broke college student, I'm kind of at the mercy of other people right now. But, I try and get out for them as much as I can, and they're a blast. And I got to say, I think one of my favorite parts about it is tying up flies for them.
Mm-hmm.
You just get to come up with some really crazy, like coming up with shrimp and crab patterns is so much fun, and it beats the living heck out of tying a size 22 midge.
That's funny. Yeah, it's I'll tell you a funny story. We used to fish for redfish a lot in Texas on spinning gear, and yeah, it is quite an obsession. And I'll tell you a quick story. So at the mouth of the Brazos, I don't know if you listened to the episode a couple weeks back, but I talked about the water spouts. I don't know if you heard that episode or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the mouth of the Brazos there, if the tide's right, there's like an island there. Okay.
Right.
And so my dad's out with his friends fishing with spoons on spinning gear. Okay. And so they're using like red and white hoagies, and they're using like these spoons, And my dad was killing him on these spoons, and he broke off his final spoon. So he asked his buddy Freddie. He's like, "Hey, Freddie, do you have an extra spoon?" And Freddie talks super slow, like he's like, "Look, Vernon, he's like really slow. He's like, you can use it, but don't lose it, So my dad's like, "Oh no, I won't lose it," So my dad's out there fishing, and like within 10 minutes he hooks up. It's tons of redfish, like you're saying, there's just everywhere. He hooks up and it starts stripping line and everything, and then all of a sudden he breaks off and he lost Freddie's spoon. Okay? So he doesn't say a word to Freddie because he promised Freddie he would not lose the spoon, and this, they're $5 or something, and he's like, "Oh God, I can't believe I lost it," So he tied on another rubber lure and was done with spoons. And then like 20 minutes later, Freddie hooks on this huge redfish and lands him. And all of a sudden, Freddie looked at my dad and he goes, "Is this my spoon?" And he caught the same fish. And my dad said, "I guess God answers prayer, because I lost that spoon." And I didn't want to tell anybody. But yeah, so Freddie caught the fish that had his spoon in it. And I thought that was probably
That's so funny.
Isn't that crazy story?
It is funny, though. They tend to, the ones that I've caught so far just tend to hang around for a little bit after you release them. We were fishing that one I just posted on Instagram. I released that, and the guy who was pulling me around ended up casting at the same fish. I mean, we saw him go kind of back to where he was, and he just sat there for, 5-10 more minutes.
Wow.
Like they just kind of go back to what they were doing.
What about flounder? Have you been getting into any flounder at all, or?
I've seen guys catch them. I haven't caught one yet. I've been really, like I said, I've been focusing a lot on the fish that are kind of aggressive in topwater. So I've been going kind of all over the place, trying to catch more and more jack. I've been trying to catch. We're going to be getting some bluefish in soon. That'll be fun. I'm going to have to pull out the wire leader for those. Those will be crazy. Redfish as much as I can, and then the thing that I've been trying to target, I see them all the time, but I can't get them to eat, are sheep's head. I cannot get them to eat my fly. Those things are crazy, but apparently, the guys in the shop are telling me they're kind of like the marsh permit, one of the harder ones to actually get into on fly.
Huh.
So I'm trying to try as hard as I can to catch one of those. See if it happens.
So what are you studying now in school, Murph?
Business administration with a minor in communications.
Nice. So how much longer do you have left to school? Not much longer, do you?
No, I got about a year and a half.
Yeah. So when you're done with that, what are you going to do?
That's a wonderful question. That's a great question. More than likely, I would like to do some kind of marketing work. That's kind of what my background is, some business and digital marketing. Work in a firm or maybe eventually own my own firm. But I would also like to somehow figure out, a way I can stay in the fly fishing industry if possible. Whether that's coming up with a product or even just owning a shop or a lodge. I think something like that would be awesome if I can just stay in this industry as long as possible.
Right. So. Right. Yeah. It's the time right now where you can take risk. I hear people talk all the time how they went to Chile or Argentina or some crazy place to guide right out of college, and it changed their lives.
Look at Oliver White.
I know. I was reading his story today. I didn't want to say that, but I was reading a story today and watching some show about him, and I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he's such a humble guy, and he says, I got lucky. And there's some luck there, but he's just a good person for that to happen to,
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, that's an awesome story.
Yeah.
Kind of how all that worked out.
Yeah. It's really cool, man. And, I'm excited for you, Murphy. I think you got a bright future ahead of you, and don't give up on the fly fishing thing, bro. Don't give up on that.
That's not happening anytime in the foreseeable future. Not to worry. I'm really excited. I'm going down to the Miami area for bonefish in the spring, and I could not be more excited to be doing that. That's just going to be an absolute blast.
Heck yeah, man. So have you been making a lot of friends in the community then down there?
Oh yeah. Everybody from, guides, I know a lot of guides, a lot of tires, different guys who work at different fly shops, to just average anglers who just want to kind of go out and hang out. There's the fly fishing community in Florida is extremely interesting. It's not like Colorado where every town has 3 fly shops and all the fly shops get together and everybody knows each other. Mm-hmm. It's a lot more spread out. It's a lot kind of like how West Michigan is.
Okay.
Where it's, there's a fair community, but it's all spread out. The entire state of Florida is like that. So,
okay.
You got a couple guys here and a couple guys there. It's huge in the Keys. There's a massive community in the Keys. A lot of the tarpon guys. But as far as the rest of Florida, it's very spread out. The shop in town here is is the next closest one is in Jacksonville, and then the next closest one after that is somewhere 3 or 4 hours south. I mean, it's very spread out.
Wow.
So, but it's it's strong, and it's really starting to gain some attention. It's really funny every time I go out. I just get the weirdest looks. Here I am, just some guy going down to the seawall, right downtown St. Augustine, and just fly fishing. I got to check my back cast, make sure I'm not hooking people, and watch out for trees. And then when you hook a big fish and you have all those people around, the look on their faces, everybody's so confused how you just did that with a fly rod.
Right.
They're like, they think all they think of is river runs through it when you talk about fly fishing.
Yeah. That's changing a little bit, but it's true.
It's
true.
Dry flies and bamboo rods. Well, I got this big graphite stick, and that's a fish that can run forever.
Right. It's really cool because this past summer, okay, I was late spring, early summer, still kind of cool. I was up working up in northern Michigan, okay?
Okay.
And I'm not going to give anything away, but it happens to be a boat launch that you and I fished from at one time, okay?
Okay.
So I get to this boat launch, and I've been working, but I had my breathables in the car, and I'm like, I'm not even going to get them out. I'm just going to just fish this boat launch for a little bit because it's kind of my lunch break. I was up there working, and I was just kind of taking some time. And these guys had been fishing there with worms like all day. And they were like, They hadn't caught anything, And they're, they're all, that particular demographic of northern Michigan, so it's like, they're all like, bush light and worms and just, craziness. And they're like looking at me, staring at me like, what is this guy doing? He goes, the one guy says, that's the first time I've ever seen anybody fly fishing in real life. Of course, they don't have a southern accent up north, but and of course he sounded nothing like that, But so I got this little trico on there, and I'm fishing the bank across from the boat launch. I'm fishing. There's like a bank, and there's like a hole there. And within probably 10 minutes, I pulled out 3 nice little brookies out of there.
Nice.
And they're like, we've been fishing here all day. Hadn't caught a thing. And and I was like, you play coy, you're like, yeah. In my mind, I'm like, yeah, because my buddy Brian is a spin fisherman. He's he fishes with spinning gear only when we go fishing, and he always outfishes me, and he says it's because of the gear, And so it was so nice to actually outfish someone who does spinning gear. I was super stoked about it.
I'll never forget the first time I outfished somebody who was fishing gear. It was the best feeling ever. It's like, yes.
Well, tell us about it, Murph. What happened?
Well, so this was in Michigan. I was going out with some friends. We were fishing bass, and I was still relatively new to the fly fishing thing. I still had pretty much zero idea what I was doing. I could cast, but I couldn't cast well, and I didn't know what flies to entirely choose. Some basics like, well, this kind of looks like something they would eat, maybe. I don't know. And we went down to one of my favorite spots in Michigan, just kind of south of Grand Haven. And we were fishing for bass. It was just really, really slow out. Nobody was catching anything. And so, I'm just kind of throwing my fly rod, put a cast out, a couple strips, and bam, just this nice little bass. And everybody's like, first fish. All of a sudden, I put my fly back there. Bam, catch another bass. Nice, another little fish. I was the only one who got fish that day. I caught 5.
Wow, that's the best. That's the best. Were you pounding any bush lights with your buds or not?
I was not. I was underage at this time.
Okay. That's awesome. That's a great feeling.
So, but it's just, I don't know. It's a fun way to catch fish, and not to say I don't fish gear from time to time. Especially here, there's times where it's a lot more practical.
Right.
If if I'm standing down at the seawall, which is kind of my favorite place to fish, just because it's easiest access, I can walk to it in about 3 minutes.
Wow.
And I can't really see too much going on, or if the wind's super high, or I just have a couple minutes and not sure exactly what I want to throw or what I'm going to catch. I'll throw gear. I'll throw, maybe a soft plastic, like a shrimp imitation, something that can get down a little farther than my fly gear.
Uh-huh.
It's productive, sea trout, things like that. But to me, it's not quite as rewarding.
Mm.
There's something a lot more rewarding about landing that fish with a fly rod. And
Sure.
I'm not sure why that is. I mean, I'm catching the same fish, but there's just something a lot more rewarding to me about catching that fish with a fly rod.
Sure. Huh.
So it's great. And, I'm excited to kind of explore more that Florida has to offer. I'm super stoked because I'll be driving back to Michigan for winter break, and I'll be bringing my kayak down back with me. So hopefully I'll be able to kind of get on the water and get out there and find more fish instead of waiting for the fish to come to me. So,
Right. Now you drive a Jeep Wrangler, right?
Yeah.
How many gallons of gas does it take you to go from Florida to Michigan?
Would prefer not to comment. It hurts. It's probably, I'm gonna level with you. It's probably gonna cost me more than a plane ticket to come home. But I'll have my car, which will be nice.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
It would be hard to put a kayak in an airplane. And
yeah.
I don't think that fits in overhead. So.
Because I'm not paying extra to check my luggage. I'm pretty sure this thing will fit.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, I get maybe when I'm driving long distances like that, I get about 21, 22 to a gallon.
Okay.
So I can do it in about 2-3-ish tanks of gas, give or take.
Huh.
So it's not awful, but it is pretty pricey. I mean, it's not the most fuel efficient vehicle.
Right. But it is really cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, especially down here, I get to it's November and I'm still popping the doors off. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
You guys are sitting there in the cold, and I'm wearing shorts right now.
Shut up. All right, Murph.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us, man. I really appreciate all that you did last season, and look forward to hanging out with you again soon, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate you having me on.
Well, thank you, John, and thank you for joining us on another week of the Remote No Pressure podcast. We'd love to have you on the trip to Chile. Be sure to go to remotenopressure.com, click on travel, and find out all the details. Also, go to Flood Tide Go. Enter in Remote No Pressure at checkout and receive a 25% discount. And until next time, go fishing.